Are you hitting the gym and sticking to your diet, but struggling to put on or retain muscle mass? And how about losing fat? Does it seem like no matter how many HIIT sessions you do or miles you log, that belly fat is still there? Or does your sleep suck? Or are your energy levels all over the place? Or is your mood unstable and your sex drive not what it used to be? If you're experiencing any of this, chances are you might be suffering from low testosterone. And it's a super important hormone, but it's often misunderstood, especially when it comes to the many ways that testosterone levels contribute to the body and why your levels could be low even at a young age. So in today's video, I'm gonna give you 3 reasons that your T levels might be low, regardless of your age. And the reason I say regardless of your age is because many of the advertisements that you see that talk about low testosterone focus on middle-aged men, which creates a huge misconception that low test only happens as we age, which couldn't be further from the truth. Scientists have discovered that several factors can impact your testosterone levels, not just aging. And clinicians are seeing more and more people showing signs of low test in recent years. And researchers have discovered that over the past 2 decades, testosterone levels in American men of all ages have rapidly declined. So, like I said, I'm gonna go over some of the non-age related reasons that your testosterone levels could be low, even in your 20s and 30s, and what you can do about it. And after I reveal the 3 reasons, I'm also gonna show you an easy way to naturally boost your test levels. I'ma keep on going up till the lights go down. All right, so what's going on, guys? This is Vince, and I have a special video today brought to you by SculptNation.com. And since test is our primary sex hormone, it makes sense that being low on T could impact things like our sex drive. But low test can also be the reason us guys have issues losing weight or experience muscle weakness or even muscle loss and have fatigue and issues sleeping or trouble concentrating or loss of endurance or shifts in mood and a bunch more. And there's no question, 25 years old or 70, your body composition and your energy and your self-confidence can all be negatively impacted if your testosterone levels aren't optimal. Now, real quick, I do need to point out that while it seems it's not the only or primary reason for test declines, I'm not saying that age doesn't play some role in why you may need to look into boosting your testosterone. Age is a factor when it comes to almost every hormone in your body. And with testosterone, it appears that levels typically decline by about 1% each year, starting as early as your 20s in some guys. And when it does, it can make it very hard for your body to function normally, potentially leading to a significant impact on your overall well-being, including your ability to see results from dieting and working out. So at this point, you might be asking, how would you even know if your test is low? Which, yes, can be difficult to figure out. Just because you aren't experiencing all the frustrations typically associated with low test, like low sex drive and fat gain, or a hard time putting on muscle, or bad moods, or poor sleep, that doesn't mean that your test levels are in an ideal range. You see, we all have a different baseline. And on top of that, testosterone levels can fluctuate daily, and how much they rise and fall, and the impact these drops have can be different for everyone. For you, a fluctuation may result in frustrations like poor sleep or a setback in your fitness goals, but someone else might not have any of that, and instead they notice that they have a low sex drive. And then for others, a drop may be completely unnoticeable. Clinicians say that this means that people that are told that their test is normal may still need a boost. And on the flip side, people that are told that their test levels are too low may not feel bad, but still need to focus on increasing their test levels. It's confusing, I know. Hormones are very complex. Only you know if you're feeling off, so it's important to pay attention to your body. But thankfully, there are easy ways and safe ways to go about giving your test a boost, which I'm gonna go over here in a second. But first, let's look at 3 things that could be causing this to happen. So the first is something that you have complete control over, and that is lifestyle factors, especially ones that contribute to weight. I found dozens of studies that demonstrate that being overweight can have just as much, if not more, of an impact on test levels as normal aging. One large study of over 650 men published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism wanted to see if issues with metabolism could be a cause of low testosterone, and their research even included an 11-year follow-up. And what they found was that men with an unaddressed weight issue were 2.8 to 3.2 times more likely to develop testosterone deficiency in the future. And there are even studies that specifically look at testosterone impacts on belly fat. One group of researchers conducted a study using moderately overweight middle-aged men, and after 6 weeks of a moderate dose of oral testosterone, the participants saw fat melt away specifically in their stomachs with no significant changes in other regions of their body. And to further test this theory that being overweight contributes to low testosterone, many researchers have looked at what happens when people lose weight to see if test levels improve once they get their weight down. One group of researchers found that during a 9-week weight loss program, participants saw an almost 12% mean increase in testosterone while they were dieting. And they also did a 1-year follow-up and found that those that maintained a healthy weight continued to see even higher levels of testosterone. So there's no doubt a connection that excess fat cells seem to destroy testosterone production, sending your levels plummeting to the point that it could impact things like your fitness goals and your sex life. So if you want to keep your testosterone from dropping, you should no doubt make weight management a priority. Now, on the flip side, there is research that points out that excessive exercise and long-term strict diets, especially those that are low fat, can also cause testosterone to drop. Much of this has to do with the stress that these extremes can place on the body. Overdoing it does a number on your stress hormones, which I'm going to touch on more here in a second, because there's a really interesting connection between being able to naturally produce test and the stress hormone cortisol. So when it comes to dieting and exercise, make sure that you're eating, first off, enough healthy fats, and also finding a healthy balance between enough exercise and not too much. Especially why here at V-Shred, we work with our clients to make sure that they have a sustainable and a balanced approach to eating and training. But that brings me to the second non-age related reason that some scientists believe test levels can drop into an unhealthy range. And this is something that you have some, but not total control over, and that is environmental factors. There are lots of things in the environment that could potentially disrupt your endocrine system, which is all the glands that produce and secrete your body's hormones. And some of the food that we eat and the bottles that we drink out of, even laundry detergent and cosmetics and pesticides and more, can all contain chemicals that disrupt hormones. So we're exposed to these potential endocrine disruptors all the time, which is why I say these are things that you don't have total control over, because they're pretty hard to completely avoid. But parabens are one of the big endocrine disruptors that some scientists say that we should be aware of. These are chemicals that are commonly used as preservatives in cosmetic products to prevent the growth of bacteria and mold, but they can also be found in food. And parabens typically have super long names like methylparaben and propylparaben and butylparaben or ethylparaben. And scientists with the FDA say that they continually review published studies on the safety of parabens, and at this time haven't been informed that parabens found in cosmetics have an effect on human health. But it is important to note that the FDA doesn't have special rules when it comes to preservatives in cosmetics. So companies are only required to list all ingredients by their common or usual name. So what I'm saying is, you need to do your own research. We found several studies that believe that there are potential concerns when it comes to excess exposure to parabens, citing they have the potential to interfere with hormones like testosterone. And if you're concerned, one thing that you can do is lower your exposure to parabens. And so you look at your body washes and your shampoos and all your skincare products. Look for any of those big names that I just mentioned, or make sure the label just clearly states that they're paraben free. Now, another couple of environmental factors to watch out for are herbicides and pesticides. These are the chemicals that are often used to kill fungus and bacteria and insects or plant diseases and weeds. And whether or not they're safe or harmful is a very hotly debated subject, but a growing number of studies have linked pesticides to various human health effects and hormones in particular. And recent data by the USDA found residues are in up to 70% of produce sold in the US. But the FDA, which monitors these chemicals in foods, claim they found that the samples they tested very rarely exceed limits that would be harmful to your health. So, of course, you don't want to stop eating produce, but what you should do is just make sure that you soak and wash everything that you buy, even organic, before you eat it. There are tons of produce washes that you can buy, or you can just make your own using like a homemade solution of vinegar and water or baking soda and water. Even washing it in just water is better than nothing. There was a study conducted by scientists at the Connecticut Agriculture Experiment Station. They found that water did a good job of removing 9 of the 12 pesticides that they tested it for. Now, last, the third reason that your test could be low, and this is a big one with a really interesting connection to testosterone production, and that is too much stress. Now, I'd love to say that this is something that we can control, but let's face it, stressors are all around us. Unfortunately, studies are showing that being stressed out all the time takes a toll on testosterone levels. One key discovery researchers found when studying stress and its impact on testosterone production is something called the testosterone suppression response. This basically centers around another hormone that we all have but don't want to be too high, and that is the stress hormone, cortisol. Essentially, science shows us that if your cortisol is too high, it can disrupt your body's ability to make testosterone. So you want to do everything that you can to minimize cortisol so that your body actually produces and uses testosterone. And you can keep your cortisol levels in optimal range by just simply getting enough sleep or taking enough rest days from training or focusing on recovery, such as proper post-workout nutrition and supplementing with adaptogens and natural herbs. And long jackroot and ashwagandha are two of my favorites. And I'm going to tell you a way to get them specifically in a scientifically backed dosage here in a second. But several studies have shown that adaptogens like these have a significant impact on lowering cortisol levels. But what even are adaptogens? Well, they're natural herbs that do just that. They adapt to whatever is happening in your body. This means, let's say you're super stressed, or maybe you just have a more uptight personality. They could work to decrease your response to stress, possibly lowering cortisol. But let's say that you're less stressed or you have a more carefree personality, they can still be helpful because they can help to keep your cortisol levels in a healthy range. Now, I also mentioned ashwagandha and highly recommend this one because it's one of the most studied adaptogens in existence and is very well documented for helping keep stress at bay. But there's a specific form of ashwagandha that I prefer because it's just the most potent. And I'm about to give you the name because I'm done telling you all the bad news that even if you're in your 30s, which should be the prime of our lives, you could still be having low test issues resulting in things like low sex drive and always being frustrated and problems putting on muscle or losing fat. Now I've got good news. There are natural ways that you can get and keep your test levels within a healthy range without having to seek out dangerous injections or creams that you may have heard about that just might not be necessary. It's why our team at SculptNation came out with a product appropriately called Testboost. And you might have heard of it. We hired the best formulation team, and together we studied hundreds of different ingredients, narrowing it down to just 8, which resulted in a formula that contains nothing but top-of-the-line ingredients with clinical studies that back every single ingredient in it. Now, I already told you about long jackroot and ashwagandha. They're amazing and how they can keep your cortisol levels from skyrocketing, so we definitely included both of those in our blend. And the ashwagandha that we use in our blend, like I mentioned before, is a form called KSM66. And we chose this one because it's the highest potency ashwagandha extract on the market, drawn only from the root, because quality is very important if you want an ingredient to actually work. And we actually put a lot of focus on including cortisol reducing ingredients in our Testboost formula, because remember, if your cortisol is high, you could be blocking your body's natural ability to produce testosterone. I mean, you can take all the test boosting ingredients that you want all the time, but if you aren't taking steps to lower your cortisol, it won't matter. You'll be wasting your money because cortisol will just block those ingredients from actually working. And this is actually where we found that many Testboost products on the market are lacking. They don't contain ingredients that reduce cortisol. But with that being said, you shouldn't be focusing on just one, but not the other. We also included Panax ginseng, which is well known for supporting a healthy libido, and hawthornberry extract, which is very well documented to help promote healthy blood flow and support erectile health. and horny goat weed, which researchers found has a positive impact on the development of lean muscle mass, as well as testosterone production and cortisol. When all the hormones in your body are in balance, which is what we aimed to help provide with Testboost, you'll not only see your strength and your training intensity go up, but you might finally see the pounds that have been annoying you start to fall off and be able to recover quicker from training because you're finally able to sleep and possibly even improve your sex life. So yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say that testosterone should be a hormone that we all aim to boost and to do whatever that you can to ramp it up. And the ingredients in SculptNation Testboost are clinically backed to be a natural way to do just that. So if you want to give Testboost a try, you can try it today, totally risk-free. That's the SculptNation difference. If you don't love our supplements, we'll give you your money back, because Testboost is backed by a lifetime 100% money-back guarantee. So if you want to check it out, I'll put a link in the description box below so you can read more about it and hopefully give it a try for yourself. But regardless of whether you try our Testboost supplement or go another route, I know hormones can be confusing, but I hope this video cleared things up just a little bit. If it did, make sure that you're clicking that thumbs up button below and subscribing to the channel so that you don't miss out on any future videos, and turning those post notifications on. But other than that, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.